No, I don't need to. I'm good. Okay, so from why would you go on a tour of a tip to these tours should be compulsory. For 12 years, our community has been offered a tour experience of the Albury Waste Management Centre. Why and how has this tool become so embedded in our community engagement arsenal? What's its future and what are the benefits of you offering this to your local community? So my name is Jen, I'm a teacher, I'm a storyteller, I'm a recent arrival to the waste industry. It's 1 year I've been in the waste industry and my first COPs. And I love taking people on tours of the Albury Waste Management Centre. So before I start, I just thought I'd ask, who here works at a waste management facility? Put your hands up. Great. Who here gives tours of that facility? Who wants to give tours of their facility? Great. And has anyone ever done a tour of the Albury Waste Management Facility? Oh, okay. Does anyone tell stories as part of their job? Yeah, great. Good. Okay. I don't know whether I should have put this video in because it's very, very amateur, but I thought I can't talk about a tour unless I give you a quick little insight to the tour. So excuse the quality of this video. Now, if anyone else has got high vis here today, please feel free to put it on because we're about to go on a tour and I will try and narrate. And if you get motion sickness, just close your eyes at the start. Okay, let's go. Let's see. All right, through the gatehouse, this is the brains of the operation. This is where the data is stored over a weighbridge in and a weighbridge out. And people say, well, why do you need to go on a weighbridge out? Well, some trucks are full on the way out, empty on the way in. Down to the recycling centre, down Recycling Road, and you'll see this is organised. Organised material. That's how we like it. Okay, let's go behind the scenes. We're going to go behind the scenes. They're bags. What are those bags full of? Well, can you see the numbers on them? People want to know what they're getting and how much they're getting. This is commodities. This is processing. My favourite pile, what material is that? It's metal. So the tour group gets out at this point. We'll go and have a look at the poly machine. That's what's happening there, where this turns into this. Amazing. And then they get 10 minutes in the tip shop, which is adjacent to our recycling centre in our Aware store. I encourage people to look for projects of the future. We get a lot of groups that actually particularly focus on that. Pass the metal pile again because it's so cool. And then, yes, garden waste. What material is this? Well, is it just timber? No, it's not. So I talk about contamination at that point. Over the weighbridge to our push pit. In the old days, you used to dump straight onto the tip face. Now it comes into the push pit. Yes, there's recyclables in the push pit. Why do people put recyclables in the push pit? Amazing what school kids will answer to that question. And then the moment you've all been waiting for, now this is really behind the scenes, up to the top of our valley where the landfill is. Yes, look at the birds, aren't they amazing? We've got a full bird list. We can do interp on the bird if anyone wants it. And right up to the top, moments of awe and wonder. What can you see? Can you see this? Can you see the point where the clay meets the trees? That's the full point. Yep, we've only got till there. Now I'll show you where your green bin goes. Yep, your green bin that got picked up this morning comes here. Your FOGO gets delivered temporarily here. Wow, hardly any contamination. We're really good at that in Albury-Wodonga. Hurrah! Really low contamination. We celebrate that. Would you like to meet some of the hardest working recyclers in the whole place? There's thousands of them. What do you think they are? No, they're maggots. Let's go and check out packaged food waste. It's a real problem. Not talking about what goes in your green bin, but what comes out the back of the supermarkets. Thank you, GoTerra. We read the GoTerra sign, we look at the maggots, we marvel at the maggots. And now, back down, we're almost at the end of the tour, but do you think there's any waste when you build a house? Do you think there's any waste when you renovate a house? Yes, well, we've got a whole nother part of the tip for that stuff. Now, all of this stuff used to be separated out in the open. You can imagine this place on a bad weather day, in the wind, terrible, terrible. 20% we were diverting from landfill, but now we've got this. Ta-da! The brand new MRF. Yes, they're the materials that get separated out. Those people up there are happy. They've got tunes cranking. They've got temperature controlled. They're happy. And our aim is to get up to 60% diversion from the MRF. Let's get out now and go to the education centre. Now, this is an important part of the tour. This is where we dive deeper and we ask questions and we answer questions and we have conversations. So that's our tour, very briefly. I should just leave now, but I won't. Okay, so how did we get to this? So in 2008, there was an airspace plan and soon after a regional waste minimisation strategy. And a few important things happened 2010 to 2015 that relate to these tours. Changes started happening at the local tip. There was a new entry, there was a weighbridge. People were asking, what's all this about? At the same time, or close to the same time, the community got 3 bins, 2015, 10 years ago. Households were asked to consider their waste in ways that they'd never needed to before. There was a little show called War on Waste, and Halve Waste was founded and funded through a landfill levy. And that set up a secure funding stream for community-based education and educators and community engagement. There was an appetite in the community to see what was happening out at the landfill, at the Waste Management Centre, and there was a need to explain how this facility worked. Okay, so Halve Waste goals. All comes back to this. Prolong the life of the landfill, reduce contamination in curbside collection, and increase recycling and organics composting practices. So, where does the tour fit? Well, Halve Waste work has always been underpinned by behaviour change theories. Our business is behaviours. Use this bin for this waste and not this. Behaviour change is the cornerstone also of sustainability. Many of you in the room will understand that. Tours are a means to explain and to persuade in a vivid and a personal way why we ask people to do certain behaviours. Initially, there was interest and scepticism about what was happening at the tip, and that led to the earliest tours that were delivered by Andrea out of a car. Very soon after, there was a bus. We'll talk about that later. It was about opening doors. It was about inviting people in, transparency. A lot of people have talked about transparency today and yesterday. About reducing barriers, about allowing people access to see for themselves. But we also understand that those who have powerful experiences on our tours operate as community champions, sharing those experiences and promoting behaviours amongst their friends, their family and their colleagues. As speakers yesterday suggested, it's important to build awareness of the cost of doing nothing and the benefits of doing something. Tours work because they bridge systems between, they bridge systems and people. They bridge the local and the global. Sustainability is systems thinking, seeing the interrelatedness of aspects of waste help people understand this. Connecting into the economics at play in our recycling plant. Those white bags, the market needs to know exactly how much is in there and what type of plastic that is. Connecting to the good news stories of how low the contamination rates are in our FOGO. Connecting to the environmental impacts of landfill by driving up the hill and seeing the full line. And there's a growing body of work that we're interested in around the power of telling stories to drive change. And this comes a little bit from the business world, stories to implement change, but I think it incorporates what we know already. It's powerful to be in a community. There's too many notes on this slide, obviously. it incorporates what we already know, which is when we're in the community telling stories face to face, we're personalising that story. Okay. So how did these tours become embedded in our community engagement arsenal? Well, we've invested in a team. At the moment, there's 3 education officers, and they embody a personal and emotional commitment to the story that attendees often comment on. Penny was a passionate tour guide. Sarah was an enthusiastic host. And also on a weekly basis, we deliver school incursions, community pop-ups, and we stand on curbsides with our gloves on and assess how people are using their bins. So we bring our experience to our tours. We've got some wonderful casual bus drivers. That's Dave and Costa. That was a great day. And here's a retired machinery operator on the site. He's been on the site for as long as it's been operating as a landfill. And we have our 22-seater magic bus. And when that goes and picks up kids, they know something special is going to happen. That's our magic bus. And we love our bus, and we're about to upgrade. So we hope that looks electric, and we hope it looks to be about 30 seats, and probably won't be, but it's going to be magic either way. And we've invested in our education centre, and that's, as I said before, a space where conversations happen. We finish the tour, we'll have a cup of tea, we process and synthesise information, we answer probing questions, and conversations so often lead to the path forward. What do we do now? People sign up for our soft plastic recycling scheme. We'll talk about product stewardship. We talk about advocacy. We even talk about the circular economy because people are ready for it after their tour. Okay, developing the story. Well, seeing is believing, some may say, but it's also not just seeing. There's learners of many kinds, hence why we don't just use visual cues. We've got oral and tactile tools. Around the maggots, we pass around the polyball. I can see people going to the maggots, that's great. We plan for moments of awe and wonder, and we hosted the AAE conference in Albury at the end of last year, and we had the writer of this paper on the tour, and she said she had moments of awe and wonder on our tour, so that was great. We ensure our language makes it a personal story. This is where your red bin goes. This is where your green bin goes. And we also have to keep working on our accessibility through our bus, access on and off the bus to visit the upcycle store and the education centre. Okay, so who comes on our tour? That word map gives you an idea of some of the community groups that come on our tour. There's also school groups. So we average 3 to 4 tours a week. That's an average. I've got 5 next week. There's Seniors Week. We hook in with some of the significant dates on the calendar. There's Seniors Week in New South Wales and Victoria. We span that border, so that's lucky us. Recycling Week, school holidays, again, multiple because we span the border. So in 2018, we did 18 tours. In 2024, we did 108 tours. So we had over 1,500 people on tours last year. So an upward trend, we're happy with that. The tours are free, by the way. So differentiating the stories. So here's some pictures of various age groups that we come on tour. That top one is a geography class that wanted to practice their interview skills. Some classes will focus on different aspects of science. We've got a kindergarten class there. That's a bird life group. We did a knowledge exchange. They gave us a bird list, gave us lots of amazing information about the birds that are ubiquitous on the tour, and in exchange we sent them forth as community champions in around waste management. We've also got catered to culturally and linguistically diverse communities. Here is a particular community who bought their own translator. We also showcase our success stories. We also strengthen the understanding that we are good waste managers here in Albury-Wodonga. It is our social norm. We lay out an optimistic path forward. It's emotional, hurrah. We've won awards for this solar farm, hurrah. We have waste professionals from all over the world visit this facility, hurrah. You will join in with me next time. Our contamination rates in the green bin sits at under 1%, hurrah. And in the yellow bin, 7%, hurrah. And we've done it with Halve waste, hurrah. We've reached the 50% diversion goal in 2020. We've prolonged the life of the landfill. We still have 20 years left, we think. So our new brand should be Beyond Halve Waste. Hurrah! Hurrah! Works every time. So what do they think? And this is really important. I'm just going to let you read some of this feedback. We've had a visitors book since 2019. Nowadays, we have an electronic digital feedback form. We love the fact that our staff and our workers are very visible on the tour and they get some great feedback, supplementing what happens in the classroom with real-world experience. And the discussion that follows. Okay, so what about the future? Well, as our waste management centre changes, so does the tour, obviously. It used to go for 30 minutes, I believe, back in 2013. Nowadays, especially me, hard-pressed to do it in under 2 hours. We're constantly trying to improve accessibility, as I mentioned before. Wheelchair-accessible bus would be lovely. The ability to play some of our new waste songs and jingles would be great. There's an opportunity, a project that's just planted its seed with Parallel Wilds. It's a Riverina-based business where students may design a 3D gaming type scenario in our waste management centre using imagery and stories from our site. We're investing in our education centre. It's the last stop on our tour. It's a space where people do their synthesising, where they have the deep conversations. We have to keep up with community needs, so I'm wondering, is it time to harness the transformative power of our tours and formalise community champions? I don't know. This year marks our 10th anniversary of our community having 3 bins. Is it time to refine and develop our messages? An opportunity to rethink and refine and reimagine the future of waste management? And I'd love to hear your thoughts. Okay. So, in summary, our tours showcase, they make invisible infrastructure visible, they persuade, they educate, they entertain, they provide moments of awe and wonder, and they put people firmly in the landscape of their waste management system. We invest in our storytellers and the resources that they have. We develop the story, we honour the past, we articulate a mandate for change, we lay out an optimistic path forward. And with halving waste, we ensure our tours provide a practical and tangible insight into what happens with waste at home. And we hope that people connect their behaviours to this bigger picture that we present to them on our tours. We celebrate the success stories that we have in Albury and we emphasise the social norms around that. And that's just about it. If there's any questions... I don't have time, do I? No, great.
But please give Jen a really big round of applause.